Alright, today we're going to talk about Internet Explorer 10 under Windows 8. Now, there's two different versions. There's the Internet Explorer that runs under this tiled interface. It used to be called Metro, just now called Windows 8. They got rid of the Metro name. And also the one that runs under your normal desktop. If you look up here, this is the one that's the Internet Explorer we're going to talk about today. If you go over here to your desktop, you'll see that there's an Internet Explorer icon there. We're not going to click on that. We're not going to actually go to that because it's pretty much the same as what you're used to. There's some different things we'll talk about later. But right now we're talking about basic navigation in this version. So let's click on Internet Explorer. It comes up. Windows MSN is my home page. A couple things about this. One is that it looks a lot different than a normal MSN. It's because it's been written in what's called HTML5. Don't mean to be too techy, but that's a new coding standard. It appears like that. It looks a lot like a tiled interface. If you hover over to the right, you'll see your scroll bar appears, and you can scroll down the page, and you'll see this is a whole bunch of tiles. This is Windows, Microsoft's new tiled interface they were going with their phones and everything. So if you look over here, there's entertainment here, there's sports here, money here. There are different areas down here to look at. Okay, that's all I'll say about the content, because now we're going to focus on how to operate this. If you go over to the side over here, and besides learning also already about the scroll bar, if you right click, you'll see that two areas open up, a top area and a bottom area. The top area is the same thing as what you're used to seeing tabs. These are actually your tabs you have running. We'll get back to those in a minute. Then we'll go to the bottom, and you'll see that's the site we're on down here at the bottom. We have some basic, not too many, some basic things happening over here. We haven't gone anywhere, so we can't go backwards and we can't go forwards. So let's first of all talk about pinning. This pinning here means that it'll actually make what you used to call a shortcut. If we click on this and we say pin to start menu, and it'll say, do you want to name this? And you just go ahead and leave it the way it is if you like, or you can type in a new name and say pin to start. So doesn't look like anything happened. Well, let's go over to the tiled interface, and there we have it. It's been added to there. MSN for Windows 8. It's been added to your tiled interface. It has not been added to this desktop here. So just be clear about that. That pinning goes there. So let's go back to IE10. The other type of pinning says add to favorites, and you click on that and you say, well, wait a second, where's my favorites? It used to be that little star up there, the little history icon. Well, if you click down here in the bottom of this area, if you go hover over it and click, you'll see now that you have three different types of icons. You have the pinned, which is what we just did, MSN for Windows. The frequent, these are the sites I've been recently at. And favorites, these are the sites that I've clicked on to be favorites. So I'm going to go through another one just to make sure we're all on the same page here. If I decide I want to go to CNN, for example, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to type in CNN. Because, by the way, if you notice, as I type typing, it does suggestions of where you might be going to, okay? And there's CNN, so I stop typing and I exit there, or I can hit enter, or I can click up here, and now I'm at CNN. So what's happened? Well, if I right click, you'll see that I'm in the same tab, but I've gone to CNN. Okay, that's very important. You didn't create a new tab, you went to the same tab, you've changed where you're at. Now, what's happened besides that? Well, one of the things that's happened is that if we right click, go to the bottom, you notice that I have a back button is now enabled. Of course, there is no forward yet, but you'll also notice that over here, if you hover, there's a back button right there. What Microsoft's done, they put a back button on the side of the interface halfway between the top and the bottom. That means you don't have to get up to the top to go get it. You don't have to, wherever you happen to be at, all you can do is halfway up the screen, click back, and there you are. On the same case, here, over here on the right, now that I've been somewhere else, I click forward, I go back to the last websites there. Oh, by the way, we got a little pop-up thing going on here. That's the usual thing, because I have pop-ups blocked. I'm not going to allow it once. I'm not going to always allow it. I'm just going to close that. We'll talk about pop-ups a little while later. But basically, we went to a different site, and now we've learned about navigating both backwards or back forwards. But let's say we wanted to keep that one site up. We want to go somewhere else. So if we right click and we click on this icon up here, this is the plus sign, therefore new, we add a new tab. It automatically opens up those same pins and frequents and all those. I can click on any one of them. Now I clicked on MSN. If I right click on the desktop or on the Internet Explorer, guess what? Now I have two tabs. Just to go over that again, if I click here to add a tab, I come down here, I decide I'll go to our website, and there's our website. We right click on anywhere off to the side of the content, and there's our tabs. To go to a different tab, right click, go to that different tab. We can go anywhere we want with that. So that's basically how the tabs look like. So that's navigation using tabs up here. We've learned about navigating using the pinned, the frequent, and the favorites. So that's basic navigation in IE10.